And then I just kind of wanted to update you all on some things going on here at the DeKalb County History Center, and then I'll turn it over to Audrey, and then we'll go ahead and get started with today's presentation. For anyone that's looking for something to do this afternoon, the Sycamore and DeKalb Chambers are having their community expo today over at the NIU Convocation Center. Normally that's held during spring break, but we all know what was happening in March of this year, so that was one of the many things that was canceled, but this is a drive-through. So they've got all sorts of safety precautions set up, and it's kind of a fun way to go and get to see all the different great resources that we have in Sycamore and DeKalb. The History Center is open. We do have limited hours. We are open on Thursdays from 10 to 1 and Saturdays from 1 to 3. We are requiring people to make a reservation just so we can make sure we have staff here, and if we don't need to have anyone here, then we will not have anyone at the desk. And then the Joiner History Room is also open, but we do need to have a reservation if anyone wants to do research. But the grounds out here at the History Center are open, and we have a fun scavenger hunt that's on our website that you can just download. We've got little trivia, kind of simple riddles that for people to see if they can answer, and then some background information as well about some of these places that represent the history of the History Center on the former Ing family farmstead. Also, we just want to put out there that we do have volunteer opportunities here at the History Center, both off and on site. So if you're looking for something to do, please let us know and we'd be happy to put you to work. And I think that's it. And then I'll turn it over to you, Audrey, for the Elwood House update.
Hi. So I do have a couple things for the Elwood House. The first one, I'm zooming in here from our second floor galleries. We, like the History Center, we have our galleries open by appointment. So if you'd like to come and check them out, you'll have the place to yourself and you can take your time. So you just need to call the museum or email one of the staff members here and set up that. And I think that's about all I have to announce today. I'm excited for today's lecture.
Well, thank you. I've had some fun putting it together. It was one of those things that was kind of hard to pick to what to include. The only other comment I want to share is that we are going to be having another virtual brown bag lunch program in November. Originally, we were going to be doing a program about researching your home, and we've kind of had to shift that for a couple of different reasons, but for this one, we're going to be doing treasures from DeKalb County's archives. So that will kind of be a show and tell from that will show off some of our fantastic county history here. So that is the plan for November, and it'll be the registration will be done the same way. Just send us an email and we'll be happy to send you the Zoom link. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and hopefully this will all go smoothly. All right. Can everyone see this? Give me a thumbs up.
Yes.
All right. Excellent. Phew. Okay. Now I can have some fun. So this is, as many of you are familiar with, during Pumpkin Fest, we do a historic tour of homes and highlight just some amazing stories that are part of DeKalb County's history. This year, like everything else, it's gonna look a little different. So why things may look different, the stories and the homes remain great local treasures. We always have a theme for our house walk as well. So this year, our theme is flexibility, adaptability, and patience. Not Italianates or brick homes, but we thought we'd just, try and do this with a sense of humor and, have, and see what happens. We've got a fun game plan here about what our plan B looks like. And in some ways, we're trying to make lemons out of turning lemons into lemonade. One of the things that we've always wanted to do that we haven't been able to do is with the booklet that we hand out to everyone that goes on the house walk It's a fabulous document. It's very well researched, but we haven't been able to produce it in color. It's just way too cost prohibitive. So after a lot of discussion, one of the formats that we're going to share these stories on is in a magazine type online brochure. And I have some examples that I'm going to show with that to everyone here, but it's really beautiful. And we're very fortunate to have an intern who's in the nonprofit program at NIU that's helping us out with this. And it's gorgeous. So I'm really excited to show that off. Another opportunity here is to, we're doing several interviews with homeowners that said that they really didn't feel comfortable in having their home open to the public, but they were willing to do a video with us. So we have interviewed people and did have recordings of exteriors and interiors, and it really came together fabulously. So that was another great positive. And one of the discussions too about on our plan B here is with, how is this information going to be accessible? If we made this beautiful magazine brochure, it wasn't going to work really well on someone's phone. And we know that people like to go on walking tours in the, in the historic district. So we have, we're going to have some of this information also available through Google Earth. So we'll have a link. And again, I'm going to show a sample of that today. But with that link, then you can see the home and you can see the information right from your phone. And then for people that just want to have more of a traditional experience, we are also going to have a downloadable document that you can just print from your computer at home and then go walk around and see some of these historic treasures. Let's see. There we go. There we go. So first I'm going to go through the homes that are included. And I did want to point out that those of you that have gone on the house walk before know that we generally have about 5 to 6 stops. This time around, we have 16 homes that we're highlighting. And they're just some really fantastic homes with some great stories. So before I get into any more of those details of the stories that we're going to tell, I'm going to show the different homes that are going to be on the house walk. So we are going to start out here today on our virtual tour of 230 Salmonock Street. And then, so this home was built in 1865, and it was known as a home to 2 people that were connected to the Civil War. And it was actually saved from becoming a parking lot. So this is just a beautiful home that when you discover these stories, it's just, just to be a fly in the wall and to go into a time capsule and go check out what it was like when it was these Civil War veterans were living there. And again, I'll get into some more of the details here in a little bit. This is a home that many people are familiar with, 305 Salmonock Street. This was Carlos Lattin's final home. He was, for those of you that aren't familiar, Carlos Lattin was Sycamore's first permanent settler. There is a plaque where his first home was, a log cabin right in downtown Sycamore. But this was his 3rd home, and it was in the Lattin family for over 95 years, which is just really phenomenal that there was that much care and interest in the family home for that long. The next home here is on 319 Salmonock Street, and this house is just one of those happy stories. This was titled in our house book, our house walk tour book, as a miraculous resurrection. It was built for Dr. Orlando Bryan, one of Sycamore's first doctors. But over time, it was cut into 4 apartments and was in a serious state of disrepair. In the last few years, there are some new owners, and they have just resurrected this home, and it is just gorgeous. And so we're just so happy to see that this home has found some owners that really are dedicated to bringing it back to its previous splendor. Now, this home has never been on the house walk, but it is just, again, another really interesting story. So this was known as a sanitarium. It served as a convalescence home for people with tuberculosis. And, so it was a place out in the country where people could get fresh air. And so this was, and we've got some old advertisements that we're going to share with that story. It was later on became Sycamore's first modern apartment building. And it was divided into 4 apartments. And it was redone by a local builder named Bert Nelson. And his hands and work are certainly touched upon in many of the homes in Sycamore. This is 413 Salmonock, and one of the really cool parts of this home here is that Van Gelder brick was used, and he was the owner of the brick factory that is now known on, that was located on what is now known as Brickville Road. So many of, sometimes these street names where you never, well, how did they get that name? Well, Brickville Road, there was a brick factory there, as well as like on Airport Road, there used to be an airport there as well. So these were bricks made right here in Sycamore. Cassius Paust, he was a judge in Sycamore for many years, as well as a veteran of World War I and World War II who lived in this home. Another interesting feature of this home here is that there is a stained glass window that was salvaged from the Swedish Lutheran Church in the 1970s. Now this is another longtime favorite, is the 421 Salmonock Street. This, I love this story. So this is nicknamed a farmhouse because it was built in 1859 for Alfred Sawyer, and then was renovated in 1885 for Abram Elwood and one of the Elwood brothers. But what is so wonderful about this home is that when this was built, Sycamore was a small town on the prairie. I mean, this is the late 1850s. And one of the photos that we're going to be including in the brochure is this home with nothing else around it. And it's Salmonock Street. There's great houses everywhere in Salmonock Street, but here it looks, like it's in the middle of a field. 432 Salmonock Street. This is the Gilded Age home. That's kind of the nickname for it. It was built in the 1880s for merchant J.H. Rogers. And this replaced a home that was then split in 2 and then moved down to Main Street. So this home wasn't split, but there was a home here that was moved and divided into 2, and that is on Main Street. And this home also has some gorgeous fireplaces inside as well. And I just realized that I do not have a picture here. I'm going to talk about it here in a little bit, but one of the most famous pictures on Salmonock Street, the Syme House. So I apologize about that. I'll talk about that in the middle, but I'm sure all of you are very familiar with that beautiful Queen Anne home. It was designed by the famous architect Jorn Scarnzy, and it is just, again, one of those masterpieces of a home that we're so fortunate to have in Sycamore. This one on 450 Salmonock Street is another beautiful Italianate home that served for the model of several other Italianates in Sycamore. So this was the first one and was used, the floor plan and the model was definitely an inspiration on many of the other Italianate homes in Sycamore. If you look at the roof up here, if you look at the windows and all the decorated, it's got the columns here, all very beautiful examples of Italianate architecture. This is known as the Wild House, 464 Salmonock Street. This was built in 1895 as a gift to Daniel Wild, and it was a gift from his father, George Wild. It was, again, another home that was divided up and was a multi-use building, but now it is a single-family home. And another fun part of this story is that there was a second smaller house that was moved and then attached to the back of this original home. 608 Salmonock Street. This again is one of the beautiful older homes here in Sycamore. It belonged to Charles Kellum. Kellum was connected to the railroad industry. He helped support the spur line of the Sycamore and Cortland Railroad that came here to town. It is also very distinctive. If you look at these, the top of the roof here, it almost looks like a triangle here that was like had the top chopped off. And speaking of being chopped off, this is a home that was cut in half. And the back part of the home was moved just a little bit further down the street on Lincoln. And if you look at the home, that home is gray, and that has the same roof features and the same beautiful windows. The garage over here in the home is an addition, but they did such a fabulous job in really matching it up to the architectural style of this original home. And unless you knew that, it would, or you had an original picture to look at, it's kind of hard to tell that that was added on later. Another part here on this home that is just really fun and enjoyed by so many people as they're walking by is this old tree trunk here that was turned into a chair with the generosity and the talent of local artist Lynn Butte. And I know that is definitely a labor of love from the homeowners here, and that they have it stained and really do a good job of taking care of that so it will last for many years to come. Here is another beautiful home, and then this is built as a twin, and it's a little easier to see it when they're right next to each other, but this was built as a twin to the 608 home. However, the language described in the articles about this was reimagined by architect George Garnsey. And after some of the changes he made to the building, some people said it was almost unrecognizable. However, that's, you know, you build a home and you buy a home, you get to make changes to it. So some of the things that were added to this home included a tower, a broad veranda, some beautiful plate glass, and ornamental gables were added to this home. Some of you that have been in town for many years may be familiar. There was a bay side window, or part of the house that was connected here, and it was part of the rectory over at St. Mary's just down the street for many years. And then that was torn down about 5 or 6 years ago. So that was, unfortunately, you know, wasn't able to be preserved, but that was kind of an interesting story of just a segment of a house that was taken down and then repurposed at another a building here in Sycamore. So this is another beautiful home here in Sycamore that has a great story. This is known as the James Elwood House, and it was not built where it is currently located. And with this, we have some great pictures of the house being moved in 1989. So this started out as an individual home. And again, as it's close to St. Mary's, it was a convent for the teachers that were at St. Mary's. And then later on became a hospital administration building. So again, many stories for this home. It is was moved, as I said, from 601 Salmonock Street across the street by Margaret Bach. And she is a person that many homes have been rescued from. She really has, historic preservation is near and dear to her heart. So she bought this home for $1 and had to move it. And that involved having electrical lines taken down. It wasn't moved that far, it was a block. But as part of the brochure, we do have some really amazing pictures of lifting a house and carrying it down the street. Some of you that are longtime residents may have been around when that happened. There's stories of kids having, lemonade stands and selling some baked goods near all the action was going on, because it was certainly quite the feat to move this house just down the street. So this is 813 Salmonock Street. And this home is interesting in that it has, again, it's another beautiful Italianate home. It is was owned by Olin Smith, who was a local dentist for many years. And it has two gorgeous staircases on the inside. And I'm just gonna, this was, yep, I was just double checking my note here. This was another home that had experienced a lot of renovation work by Margaret Bach. So again, a beautiful home that has definitely fallen into the right hands, so people were able to take care of it. This home is 827 Salmonock Street. This is sometimes known as the house on the pond here, and it was built for Chauncey Elwood, who was both a Sycamore mayor and leading businessman for many years. And this is also the longtime home of Esther May Nesbitt. She was in World War II and received quite a few awards, especially as a woman. It was kind of unusual to have someone in the leadership role, but she received the Croix de Guerre from France, which is the Cross of War, which again was very unusual, quite an honor. Not very many people were able, receive that, and that a woman received it also was just an amazing way to recognize her leadership in World War II. There is the pond behind it. It was a natural pond that is about a half acre and was historically known as a popular venue for swimming and skating for many years. There's also some stories about how people would just have boats and let some of the local kids just go, in that area and enjoy the boat, little boat ride in the afternoon. And then our next picture here is 925 Salmonock Street. Again, a gorgeous Italianate home. Look at all the detail here, and just such appreciation for homeowners that are able to, have the resources to be able to really have these stand out. If they're all painted white, they just really blend in. And here you can see all the detail here, here on the roof line as well as on the roof. This was copied from the home that was 450 Salmonock Street, so it may look a little familiar. These extensive grounds originally included a harness racetrack called Membrino Park. And in some of the advertisements around the home, it was described as having a very good well, and a cistern, as well as an orchard with an abundance of fruit. And again, as this is a little bit further away from the downtown area, I still don't think many of us would imagine with this home with orchards surrounding, being part of the property here. So again, that just takes us back to a time when Sycamore was just a little bit of a smaller community. So that is the homes that we are going to, again, feature in as part of our virtual house walk. They're all going to be included here in the brochure that I'm going to be presenting to you now. There were a couple of goals with this, is that we wanted to share some of the historical information, who lived there, images of historic items that are part of our collection, as well as historic images of the home. And we felt that's something that is sometimes missing when people go on the house walk, because we all know it's, might be a once in a lifetime opportunity to go into these homes and to enjoy these internal, just the experience of going into these historic homes. While there are some other stories that usually we don't have the opportunity to share. So we also want to include the current information about the home, We will share those interior photos when they are available. We don't have interiors for everything, but we do have a good story for everything. And then we certainly wanted this to be visually appealing. So here is the cover. And also I want to let everybody know that this is certainly a work in progress. So you'll see some things that still need to be finished, but we thought this is a sneak preview. So we're giving you a sneak preview here. This is the background of the stained glass from 413 Salmonok Street. So this was the piece that was salvaged from the Swedish Lutheran Church, is in the background here. Our idea is to highlight one of the architectural pieces inside the home when those images are available, and then to have some text describing it. Again, this text is not reflecting that background. This was just a test to see, can you still see this beautiful inlaid floor that's part of 319 Salmonok and still read the text. So this is just, again, a beautiful part of the floor that you don't really see in too many homes today. Then we'll have an exterior image of each home. We'll have kind of a little title for each of these buildings. And then we'll have 3 bullet points connected just to kind of give you an overview of each home here. And then we'll also have a little bit of, you know, some text on the bottom to give you an overview. Now this is obviously a different home, but we will have this is an example of some of the historic images that we plan to include. Some of you may be familiar with these kind of sketches. There was an atlas that was produced in 1871 that people could pay to have their home included. So this is the home that is on 230 Salmonok Street. So again, very close to the downtown area, that had a connection to 2 Civil War veterans. And here are some of the interior photos of this home. So you can see, you know, the original doorknobs that are in the home. Some of the work in progress that was done, you know, some of the work that was done in the home, as well as some of the beautiful Zen chandeliers and light fixtures that were also original that had been cleaned and restored and now are showcased. And this is from, again, 319. Here's another just architectural highlight. This is from 432 on Salmonok. So again, some beautiful lead glass window here. And so it's kind of in a bay window that kind of puts that into context so you can kind of imagine where it is in the home. Now we're going to jump back here to the Smith Partridge house. So here is that home. And then this kind of gets back a little bit to that showcasing pieces that it just didn't work in the way the house walk was set up previously. So here is a picture of Captain R.A. Smith. He was a veteran of the Civil War. He also was an elected official. And it's hard to see in this image here, but he had also lost most of his right arm during the Civil War. This is a trunk that he had used and taken with him, and this is just such a fascinating story. So he was obviously a captain in the Civil War, so he didn't have to carry everything in his backpack. He was able to have some things that were carted along. And this, as they were traveling or walking to the places that they went to in the South, Captain Smith made it all the way, I believe it was to North Carolina. So this trunk made it from Sycamore down to North Carolina, all the way back to Sycamore. The family then actually had it, and it made its way to, I believe, New York, and then here back to Sycamore when they donated it. So, you know, this trunk has been well loved over time, but this is a piece that was connected to this home and to the story of Captain Smith. This is a patch of, that was on his uniform. And again, this is just an amazing piece that we have that was donated by the family that was connected to Captain Smith that no longer lives in the area. And I wanted to be able to share some of these items connected to his Civil War story with the History Center. This is something that we uncovered here in the last few days. So this is the wild home that is on 464 Salmonock Street. The picture I showed in the current home right now does not have this porch on here, but this tower is something that is it's still there and makes it a little bit more recognizable. This is the home that was the gift to David Wild from his father, and here is his wife. However, in doing research on the home, we found out that Mrs. Wild asked for a divorce from Mr. Wild, which was pretty unusual in that time. And he claimed abandonment, that he left in 1921 and had not been back to Sycamore. So in those divorce papers, though, you can see here on the side, there we have several pages that list every single thing that was in the home. So just here, we don't have pictures of what was in this home from 1927, but it gives you just, you can imagine all this. So this is pretty small type here, so I'm gonna read some of it. So this is just what was in the living room. We have the Miller upright piano and stool that was, and then he also lists how they acquired this. So this was a gift to his wife in 1895. There is a piano lamp. There is a music cabinet that was bought by Daniel about 30 years ago, a Davenport, an armchair, a writing desk, a gramophone, a round table, a sewing table, a small table, a Windsor chair, a standard lamp, another chair, an armchair, a settee, a painting over the piano, a picture over the north wall, a mirror in the north wall, a screen, carpet, a clock, and 2 bronzes that were a gift from his Katie to Daniel about 25 years ago. And this is just very fascinating to me because most of these homes have very small rooms. So this is certainly a lot to include, but wow, what a fabulous image that we're able to have due to the records that we have in our archives here. And then it goes on and lists what was in the hall and then the other places in the home. So again, this might be a piece that would normally be missed or not really have a good chance to share during the traditional house walk, but since we're looking at different ways to do this, we thought this would be a fun thing to share in the magazine or the brochure that we're putting together. Now, this one is not a beautiful picture, but we felt it was important to include. This is the one that the house that I forgot to include in the overview. So again, I apologize about that. But this is on 420 Salmonock Street, the Syme house, the beautiful Queen Anne that was there. And again, many people that have lived in Sycamore for years have this recollection of what I've always heard referred to as an Indian statue. Well, again, in doing some research, this was here, it was a 13-foot bronze statue that was in front of the home, and it was the title of it was A Tribal Deer Dancer by a Mexican artist, Victor Gutierrez. The family that lived here were unhappy with the taxes in Sycamore, and so they moved to West Dundee, and this statue moved with them. So for many years, I had heard that it was part of a photography studio that was there, but it was part of when this family owned the home. And I don't have in my notes exactly the name of the family, but that will be in the brochure as well. So again, this is from a newspaper clipping. We're going to play around with it a little bit on Photoshop, see if we can kind of bring that image out a little bit. But I've been in Sycamore for 20 years and I have heard the story, but I have never seen a picture of this. So it was not at all what I had imagined. And we even have the price tag on this statue was $43,000 back when this was originally purchased. So now I'm going to go on to the interviews here. The first one we were able to do was with Richard Cooler, who lives at 413 South Main Street. And this is a picture that he shared with us of a group in front of the home. And you can see here this, ornate decoration here on the porch, and take you right there. There it is. So, it's just wonderful to see, these historic pictures with people and compare that to the buildings today. So the interview here was, as I mentioned, with Richard Cooler. He is very passionate about the history of his home and very knowledgeable about architecture, especially Italianate architecture. So we were very, very excited to be able to have him share some stories about his home. And I'm going to play here for you, or I'm going to try, so we'll see how this goes. I'm going to stop sharing my screen with that. And then I'm going to pull up a video here, and we'll see how this goes. Come on, there we go. Okay. Can you all hear this? Can you give me a thumbs up?
No.
No. Okay, let me pause for a second. Let me stop the share here and see if there's a setting where I can, oh wait, here we go. Share computer sound, excellent. Okay, let's try this again here. Okay.
And called Victorian. Richard Cooler, professor of history of art and architecture. I particularly like homes that were built during the 19th century. They frequently are all put together and called Victorian, which is true. However, during the 19th century, there are many different styles. Victorian simply refers to anything built during the reign of Queen Victoria, and she was on the throne almost longer than any other British monarch, from 1837 until 1901. So there's a succession of styles over time. Here in Sycamore, two of the major styles of this period are the Italianate, which was fairly short-lived and for which there are few examples, and then Queen Anne, a much more popular style. It came later in the 19th century, and there are many homes here done in the Queen Anne style. The Italian style began in England about 1802, was used for a number of different building types. It came to the US only in 1835, and here in Sycamore, perhaps by 1861.
So that was a little sample. We don't have many motorcycles going on in the rest of the video. But again, that is just a little bit of a little snippet of Richard's talk.
Hey, Michelle, can you switch back your audio?
Oh, yeah. Okay, is that better now?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. So that was just a little snippet. We don't have a lot of motorcycles going through the rest of the tour. We also adapted and had the microphone closer to his mouth. But again, he just provided such a nice overview of his Italianate home that was, and I loved how he put it, Queen Anne-ified, with some additional features that were later put onto the home. And again, this was another home that was modeled after the 450 Salmonok Street address as well. So here are some of those features here. Again, those ornate details, the windows, and then this is the side entrance of his home. And again, just the painting that really makes all this stand out here. The other people that we were able to interview was the Stoddards. They live at 740 West State Street, and this was known as the Marsh Home. And this is just another gorgeous home that we were very excited to be able to capture the story. So here we are inside, and there we have a wonderful NIU student that helped us record it, and he is going to be editing the video for us. And we went room by room here, and just some great material. Here's just a little bit, as again, a little sneak preview here. On the right, this is an image of Alma, who was the Marsh's daughter. You may be familiar with the name Alma Street, and that's where it came from. So if I go here, this is where she's at, right here on the fireplace, and then that's a close-up. When the Stoddards bought the home, it was all carpeted, and so it was kind of a leap of faith that they would be able to have something underneath, and it is just gorgeous. This is the almost a 3D floor here in their main hallway. There was only one section of the home that had pine wood floors underneath, so we'll be sharing some of those interior photos. And then down here, this is above their main entrance. So here are the two doors, and up here, this is all painted. And this was done by what they guessed was a local painter that actually probably wandered through the community. You know, they artists looking for work, and the inside of their dining room area, there is on the wall, they had 9 layers of wallpaper when they had started doing some renovation work. And this elk here is also seen in underneath that wallpaper. Now they worked with the Art Institute to protect it. That part is not visible in the home right now, but when they sell the house someday and someone wanted to bring it back, they can. But this is just a gorgeous, just hand-painted piece that's part of the home. Before I switch here to the Google Earth, we are still working with a couple other homeowners. So our goal is to have maybe 3 to 4 videos of these homes, again, that haven't ever, in recent memory, been part of the house walk. This section here is where we're going to go to, and being, again, very hip and be mobile friendly. Google Earth does a great job of, we'll just send you a link, and then you can click on the address. So this is a sample. If you would click on 230 Salmonok Street, they'll show you exactly where it is on a map here. That'll show you an image of the home. We can put several images here. So this one depends on the amount of time that we have available, but we maybe have a current picture and a historic picture, and then the text with a summary of that information will be all available by using your phone. And then last but not least, here is the printable file. So this is going to be very straightforward. It'll just be something that you can print out at home if you want, and then just go take that with you while you're walking through the historic district. So the important details here about our virtual house walk is this is only going to be available for a limited time. We are going to launch it on October 24th, which would be the Saturday of Pumpkin Fest, and the sales will end by January 10th. For those of you that are already thinking about the holiday season, just a thought, this might be a great holiday gift. I know many of you have been cleaning out during, been stuck at home during COVID. So maybe, you want to get something that doesn't take up a lot of space in someone's home. All of this material is downloadable. So once you have access to it, you can download it and you can keep it. But we are going to only have a specific date that it can be purchased. This is going to be available for $20. Normally the house walk was $25 a person or $40 for a couple. So this is, you know, within that same price point. And when you make the purchase, you can do this by sending the History Center a check, or we'll have a link set up through our website, and then we'll have an email confirmation that will be sending you with the details. So I just ask if you wouldn't mind to help us spread the word that this is how we're approaching the house walk this year, but we are really excited about it. Been having a lot of fun, and also just a shout out here too to our Pumpkin Fest committee that I believe our first meeting was in June about how we might adapt this year. So I'm really appreciative to everyone that has helped pull all this information together. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here, and if anyone has any questions, now's the time. Just unmute yourself, or you can go ahead and put a question in the chat bubble, and I can answer it that way. All right. Oh, well, thank you. So thank you for that. If you do have any other questions about how this is going to go, please feel free to, oh, did someone have a question? Nope. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out. We're learning you know, how to do this like the first time, like everybody else. We've also been in contact with some of our friends over at CASA. They did the 50 Men Who Cook as a virtual event. So they've been helping us troubleshoot and provide suggestions as well as how to make this go real smoothly. But we're excited. Again, it's an opportunity for us to be able to share information that we hadn't been able to really share in the past. And so again, turning lemons into lemonade.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you all so much. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you on November, where's my note here, November 5th for our brown bag lunch that will be treasures from the archives in DeKalb County. So thanks again for everyone for joining us, and we will hope to see you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.